Hare Krishna. So we are here in Gokul Dham. The monsoon seasons have begun and everything is lush green here. Even though we have very heavy monsoons here, on an average minimum 4,000 millimeters per year, sometimes 5,000 and sometimes even more than that. And it's extremely windy and it can often be problematic. At the same time, the rainy season here is also very invigorating in many ways. One, because it feels very nice, there's fresh breeze, and the weather is very cool, very pleasant, and water sustains life here like it does everywhere else. So everything starts growing abundantly, profusely over here. And all our rain-fed agriculture, which is the mainstay of our food over here, this flourishes in this season. Now we have the peculiar situation here where we have abundant rainfall in the monsoon season, but in the summer there is a scarcity of water because the water flows down the slopes and it disappears, it goes somewhere else, or it percolates into the soil and then flows underground somewhere else. So of course the percolating water is also good because it regenerates the springs and water sources and feeds these water sources in different parts of our land and also in the area around us in the forest and elsewhere. At the same time, it is very important that we somehow tap the rainfall that falls in our land and that we trap it in such a way and control and regulate the flow in such a way that we can utilize it in various ways. So one way is to just keep recharging the groundwater year after year, till the water tables will rise to such a degree that the springs will be regenerated. The springs that run only in the monsoon season now will run practically throughout the year. And then we want perennial streams running. Our idea is that the main stream that runs through this property runs only for 6 to 8 months. And we want it to be perennial. So we want all these smaller streams to be tributaries for that mainstream. So we have to see that these little streams are also recharged and that they also flow with water as long as possible throughout the year. So we are here in a particular plot of land in our big land, which is 400 plus acres. And we are in a 16-acre plot of land. And we are building a small dam here. You can see this dam here of mud. It's only 25% complete. There is still work to be done here. We don't believe in mega projects, in mega dams, because fundamentally that is harmful to the ecology, to the environment. But micro dams, micro structures are fine because they are in tune with the environment and they are also very helpful for us. So the water flows down from various channels and you can see the water is here in this lake, this little pond. And we have kept a channel that the overflow of water can come from here and it flows further down. It flows further down into the forest and this becomes one of the tributaries of the main stream. So we are holding water here like this and eventually the water will keep percolating and recharging our water table. And also at other times, we will be able to utilize this water for many months for our agricultural and horticultural activities. Maybe not for human consumption, but at least for the agriculture and horticulture, this water can be used. So our devotees have been working very hard on this, and I'd like all of them to speak bit by bit on on the whole water program here and specifically on this particular pond here. We've built many ponds like this in different parts of our project, farm ponds, and that is the way forward for us, because the earth is the biggest tank, the water storage facility that we can ever have. So we do build artificial tanks, that's also required, but fundamentally it is the earth that soaks in the water, and the water table in the earth below is what will eventually supply our streams, our even the springs that come out from the soil. And when we are in the midst of such an environment, we actually feel very rejuvenated. So we will ask the devotees one by one to come. Samasta Vaishnav Prabhu, you can please come here and share a few thoughts on this.
तो हरे कृष्णा। तो ये जो पानी है ये बारिश का ही पानी है बस, और ये छोटा सा चेक डैम है, ये ऑलमोस्ट 16 एकड़ कवर करता है इसका।
This is rain-fed water and it covers approximately 16 acres.
तो ये जो है ये हम क्या कर रहे हैं, शुरुआत we are starting with small and simple so that it can be जो लोगों से ही काम कर सकते हैं, उसका जो मेंटेनेंस है उसका लोगों से ही हो सकता है, मशीनरीज का उपयोग कम होगा उसमें।
So we have planned the structures and the layouts in such a way that they can be maintained by human beings alone. In other words, that we don't need heavy machinery and such things to maintain it in the future.
और ये जो है ये देखिए पानी तो होल्ड करेंगे बहुत जगह पर, लेकिन जब तक हम लिविंग स्पॉन्ज नहीं करेंगे, जैसे कि यहाँ पर ग्रीन ट्रीज दिख रहे हैं, तो उनको ये पानी स्टोर होकर ऑलमोस्ट जहाँ पर ये पहले 6 महीना रखता था, तो अभी एक 8 महीना भी अगर पानी रुक कर उनको फीड करेगा तो ये साल भर जो ट्रीज रहेंगे, लिविंग स्पॉन्ज रहेंगे, वो उनको स्ट्रीम को रिचार्ज करते रहेंगे।
So the idea is that we want to recharge the ground and make it into a living sponge. A sponge, as you know, is what sucks water. So once the whole ecosystem here becomes a living sponge, then the groundwater raises and the trees themselves will hold a lot of water, and then they will feed the streams in course of time, because from the roots the water that is held is discharged bit by bit.
तो पानी का मतलब बारिश का पानी को बस होल्ड करना, मतलब कि बस टैंक बनाना उतना ही नहीं है, उसके साथ में हमें शेड गिविंग ट्रीज रहेंगे, फ्रूट बियरिंग ट्रीज रहेंगे, फ्लावर बियरिंग ट्रीज रहेंगे, तो उससे बहुत सारा खर्चा है बचेगा, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बचेगा, और इसका मेंटेनेंस भी वही करेंगे, ट्रीज करेंगे।
So it's not only a question of just making a water pond, but we also need a variety of trees, fruit-bearing trees, flower-bearing trees, etc., which will then also supply our needs, and we don't need artificial things like electricity and so on.
तो ऐसे ही ये छोटे छोटे पॉन्ड्स रहेंगे हमारे जगह पर, आगे जाकर हम आगे करेंगे।
So we will have a lot of small ponds like this in various parts of our property. That is the plan. So this is Samasta Vaishnav Prabhu. He has been working for many, many years in organizing our watershed management here. He himself is an engineer by training, and he has applied his engineering brain and also his devotional temperament to see that we are self-sufficient in water. Hare Krishna. And now Hari Ram Prabhu can also explain some thoughts on this.
Hare Krishna. So actually I want to say in a 4 levels. So in a catchment and storage and usage and recycling area. Actually the goal of this whole project is to make sure that our Yamuna river, we have a Yamuna which is, as of now it is not perennial,
So we want to make the Yamuna perennial, and gradually we want to work on tributaries. So now Maharaj was just explaining how to go on this. So if you want to make the Yamuna as a perennial water, so first we have to work on the tributaries. So in the tributaries we have on the tributaries also we have a very small what do you say, which we streams. So we what we are doing is now on the top level we are trying to put gully plugs, and so by that, so small streams are getting stopped, and gradually the water is getting released from the small streams, and by that then gradually you can see here, so it is coming to a check dam. It is also in a very small level, and below this check dam we have a perennial spring, and this because of the water is stopped here, so we are getting our perennial water is spring is getting recharged, and whole year. So we hope so we will get this water, and again the water which is flowing out of this dam, so it is enhancing our main river Yamuna. So similarly, actually we have more land. It is 16 acres, and the 16 acres is connected to two hills, which we have more than you can say 3 to 4 acres. 3 to 4 acres we have. So all the water we are trying to catch in this single dam, and gradually we want to just use this water to make our Yamuna water perennial. Thank you.
Hariram Prabhu also has been here for 2 decades, and he has been also one of the main architects in planning and executing all the various projects here in Gokul Dham. And the permaculture project that we have there is his brainchild, and is the one who has actually pursued it. And he's also very, very instrumental in making the layout for all these streams and the way the whole water arrangement has to be made out here. Hare Krishna. Now I'll call Anjananandan Prabhu or Sonar Gaur Hari. This is Sonar Gaur Hari Prabhu. Happens to be a marine engineer, but he was sailing in the seas, and he decided to give up the oceans and help us make rivers here inside in our property. So he has been handling the watershed management here also for several years. And now he is the main person overseeing the construction of this dam and the tanks behind and so on. हरे कृष्णा. तो सोनार गौर हरे, कुछ बताओ इस जमीन के बारे में या इस प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में.
ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है हमारे आमटे ग्राम पंचायत से मतलब जुड़ा हुआ है, वो नरेगा स्कीम, गवर्नमेंट का रोजगार का स्कीम है नरेगा, तो उसमें से ये हम बना रहे हैं.
So this scheme has been done, but there is a neighboring village called Amte, and we have a government scheme Manrega, so we get labor from that, and from there we have actually manually made these arrangements for digging up the tank and building this dam and so on.
तो ये सबसे नीचे वाला हमारा भाग है. ये जो 16 एकड़ का लैंड है, जमीन है, उसमें ये सबसे नीचे वाला मतलब पार्ट है. इसमें हमारा ये डैम बन रहा है, और उसके ऊपर एक 3-4 चेक डैम्स हम बना रहे हैं. और
So in our property, which is very large, this one chunk is 16 acres. Of the 16 acres plot, this where we are standing now is the lowest portion of that 16 acre. And above this, we have 4 or 5 check dams, which block the water and then release the overflow.
और इसके ऊपर हमारा एक पहाड़ है जो हम टेम्पल टेकड़ी कहते हैं, तो उसका पूरा पानी हम कैच कर रहे हैं. तो बारिश का जो भी पानी आता है, वो हम एक ट्रंच बना के उसको, एक हमारा तालाब है छोटा, वो तालाब में छोड़ रहे हैं वो पानी.
So we are holding the water that is coming here into these different trenches, and we're releasing it so that these trenches get filled up, and eventually then that will also help percolating the rainwater.
तो वहाँ से जो हमारा टेम्पल टेकड़ी है उसके नीचे एक
Oh,
छोटा
वहाँ
पॉन्ड
भी
है। तो वो पॉन्ड में वो हमारा जो पूरा कैच किया हुआ पानी जो है वो पॉन्ड में जाएगा, तो उसमें पर्कुलेट होगा और उसमें उसके बाद जो ओवरफ्लो होगा उसके बाद एक नीचे जो पॉन्ड है उसके नीचे छोटा छोटा चेक डैम्स हमने बनाया है।
So the water will flow from there, from the pond into all the, from the check dams into the ponds, and they will percolate the water there, and they will hold and then recharge the groundwater.
तो उसके बाद छोटा छोटा ये चेक डैम्स बनाया है। वो चेक डैम्स में भी हमारा जो पानी है बारिश का उसमें वो पर्कुलेट होके ऐसा स्टेप बाय स्टेप हमने बनाया है। तो उसमें वो एक के बाद एक ऐसा पानी पर्कुलेट हो के उसका ओवरफ्लो दूसरे चेक डैम में, दूसरा तीसरे चेक डैम में ऐसा जाके फिर बाद में जो है ये जो हमारा डैम है, डैम के ऊपर एक तीन चेक डैम है उसमें आएगा पहले पहले वाले में।
So what has been done is that a series of check dams have been made. Check dams are very small dams, very, very small, just only a few feet in height, maybe less than that. So they block the water, and the water that is blocked behind percolates into the soil. The overflow then goes forward. It is blocked by the next check dam. Again, the water there percolates. The overflow goes to the next check dam. In this way, there is a series of check dams, and ultimately it comes to one or two check dams which are just before this main dam here. And in that way, we not only accumulate water, but we also recharge the groundwater.
और चेक डैम्स का दूसरा भी उसका ये है फायदा है कि जितना मतलब डैम के ऊपर चेक डैम रहेंगे वो पानी हमारा डायरेक्ट डैम की तरफ नहीं आएगा। तो चेक डैम्स में वो पर्कुलेट हो के उसका फ्लो कम करते करते बाद में डैम में आएगा, ताकि डैम को सेफ रखना है।
So, in order to protect the dam, also, what we do is we stagger the flow in such a way that it reduces by the time it reaches the dam. So by the time the water reaches here, it has already percolated substantially into the soil, and it has also been held at certain points due to these check dams. Yes? Jai, Hare Krishna. A lot of hard work that he has put in, and it's not an easy job working throughout the year and also on this heavy rainfall. But he and his team, they have been doing a tremendous job here with this water. Hare Krishna.
बाणी तोड़ सर
एक से 4 बार